This is LTV.
Inside Leominster is brought to you in part through the generous support of MP Crowley Incorporated and by Rockland Trust, where each relationship matters.
And here we are in a little bit of a drizzly, fall-feeling Thursday afternoon, and we're live. The name of the show is Inside Leominster. My name is Dean Mazzarella, and the phone number is 978-534-1626. And we have a lot to catch up on. Breaking news, stocks fell sharply as relief over the shutdown deal gave away to anxiety. But it's something every day on this. The stock market used to be a lot different than it is today. The stock market is very reactionary to almost everything. And I don't know there's any more science behind the stock market other than people have to eat. We know that. I mean, the things that are common that people, you've got to buy, the toilet paper and cleaning supplies and all that. Other than that, just, the federal shutdown ends and the stocks fall. How do you figure that, right? And then they'll tell you the reason why. They don't know the reason why. But what I do know is we have a guest today and from the Historic Commission, and we're going to talk good stuff. We've got some cool stuff to talk about. Veterans, and I hope you saw the connector. We renamed the connector down where Fidelity Credit Union is, Fidelity Bank is on Mechanic Street. We've renamed it the Boulevard, the Veterans Boulevard, with over 3,500 flags placed down there for every veteran in the city. And I was looking today, and I think that, I'll talk to Mike about this, but I think the last census, 4.8% of the population in Leominster are veterans right now. That's, decent. And it's actually higher than the state average. So we have lots to talk about today, but I do want to tell you that the students at Leominster High have worked so hard for to put on the performances of The Wizard of Oz, my favorite movie. And it all begins tomorrow night at 7. And then I think, I have it in here, and I'll read it later, but they have a matinee on Saturday. See if I can find it. What time? 2? I think it's 2, and then on Saturday night, it's 7, and then another matinee at 1 o'clock on Sunday. So they've tried to cover it so everybody can make it. And so there's still tickets on sale. They cost a little more, just a couple dollars more if you want to get them at the door. And but that's okay, because it all goes towards, it's not like these students are getting paid for this. It is a big performance, requires a lot of material and a lot of cost to actually get the rights to it, and then to build the props and everything. So it's a lot of work. And so please try to support them. And who doesn't love The Wizard of Oz? Who doesn't love The Wizard of Oz? So we're going to take a short break here on this little bit of rain. They said it should end around 5 or 6. But I'll tell you, the last couple days definitely felt like winter. We were out there for Veterans Day, placing the wreath on the memorial at 10:30 on Tuesday. And it snowed. It was cold and it snowed, and I thought to myself, I looked to my right, there's still flowers on the plants down in the common. I looked to my left, there's still, and I'm thinking, wow, this is kind of interesting. And the Korean War vets are thinking, this is nothing. This cold, this is a piece of cake. And but we had excellent Veterans Day. I hope you get the chance to watch it right here at LTV. LTV is almost every event, and if you can't make an event, like tomorrow night, are you guys taping that with the high school? Are you doing that? The high school's at Doyle, is it? Are they at Doyle, or are they at?
The game is at, we're going to be all the way in Danvers.
Danvers? Are you guys going?
St. John's Prep.
Yeah.
We're going.
And you're going. Good. So maybe you can't get to something, but at the same time, LTV carries all of these events like Veterans Day and Memorial Day and sporting events and everything else that's happening around the city.
Do plays because of copyright,
Really? You can't do plays, huh? Yeah, right, right.
Wizard of Oz.
You can't.
FGM won't come with.
You can't repeat something that you haven't bought the rights to. All right, we're going to take a short break, but I did want to remind you that the Wizard of Oz starts, and also Hazardous Waste Collection Day is this Saturday, the 15th. And it starts at 9, I think it ends at noon. Don't panic. If you see a long line of cars, they move you through. They're really good at it. And this one in particular has the paper shredder. So if you have documents that you want to get shredded, this is the event that you want to make sure you attend. All right, short break, coming right back. See you soon. And a wonderful job by the Leominster High School Band. And we were greeted today, that day, with the presence of a veteran from World War II that attends every single one of our events, regardless of if it's a veterans event or Memorial Day. He is always there. And yeah, and he was 100 years old.
100 years old, okay.
Imagine that. James and his family were there, and just amazing. He's still sharp as anything. Went to his birthday party on Saturday night,
yeah.
And just he got his guitar out and sang some songs from us from the old days of Alabama, where he was born, and it was just a wonderful night, and then a wonderful Veterans Day for him. He showed up even at the when the laying of the cross. So James Williams, a big thank you to Jim. I think he's the James Williams II. But it was a wonderful night for his birthday and a wonderful celebration. A number of people received awards at the on Veterans Day. The Helen Hill Award was given, and we had a great guest speaker. So you can see it all here, right on LTV. Look for the calendar, and they'll tell you exactly what time they're playing it. Anyway, Michael Kerrigan is here with me. Good afternoon.
Thanks for having me aboard again.
Lots going on here. We're bringing history to life here.
So much, yeah, it's...
so much history.
Leominster.
There's lots of new people that have moved in, and they're interested in the history and find it fascinating. I always find it fascinating. I love a good story. And so today we're going to be talking about veterans. And as I was saying, 4.8% of the city is veterans right now. That's, decent. I think it's higher than state and county average. So,
I believe the way the unofficial federal quota was during the First and Second World Wars, They wanted 10% for each community village, and Leominster was front and center.
Imagine
They went right to it.
Imagine the days. I was thinking today. Remember the sticker, the green sticker they used to have on your car if you were to get into Devons, whether you worked there, lived there, or you were military service. You had to have that sticker that said Fort Devens on it.
Yes.
They wouldn't let you in at the gate, at Jackson Gate. And think how many people. Now, I don't know if you've seen, but on Facebook, there are a couple of Fort Devens Facebook pages.
I haven't seen them.
They're all like people that were stationed at Fort Devens and during various wars. They were trained at Fort Devens. There's quite a few of them out there that are Fort Devens sites. They're pretty interesting. And anywhere I go, if people see Leominster on a shirt or something, good chance that somebody will come up and say, hey, I was stationed out there. I lived out there for a while.
Fort Devens,
they either worked here, but a lot of people will say I was stationed and I lived off base and I lived in one of the apartments, or I used to come and eat there or shop there, or I used to come to the mall. And Thursday nights, everybody would be in their military with their families because that's when they get paid, and they'd be down there shopping, and the whole mall would look green. So this area has a huge history with active service and veterans.
Yes. Yeah. Just briefly, yes. So from 1919, after the First World War, it was Armistice Day, the 11th day of the 11th hour. So from 1919 to 1953, the Americans celebrated Armistice Day.
Right.
And then in 1954, Eisenhower, who was then president, of course, was commander-in-chief of the U.S. Ground Forces in Europe. And with all these millions and millions of veterans now deactivated, they were looking for their own holiday, and they decided then to change Armistice Day to Veterans Day because
Nobody could spell Armistice Day.
No, but that too, yeah. So you had like close to 12 million Americans that served in World War II, and then you had Korea, and that was another 1 million.
Yeah.
So they wanted their holiday. So that's how it went from Armistice Day, June of 1954, that went from Armistice Day to Veterans Day. So that's how that all became. And a lot of different things. We're talking here about the 4.8% you had mentioned. Okay, like World War I, there were 1,025 served from Leominster, of which a population of 20,700. So again, you're hanging around that 10% that the government wanted.
Yes.
And then World War II, 2,800 served, and out of a population of 23,000, it goes. But anyway, like Korea, over 1,100 served, Vietnam 1,300, total served over 6,274 from what I can see. From World War I to Vietnam, and then we had the Gulf War and the Iraq War as well. So there are more, with
of course.
Leominster.
I was reading through stuff the other day and looking at, reading up on World War II and just looking at some of the data. And how do you explain to a student right now that's in school the dynamics of World War II? It's very difficult.
Yeah.
Did you ever look up, now, trying to explain the Holocaust? First of all, it's unimaginable because people are thinking, here it is 2025. In the world that we're in, there's definitely some divide amongst politics and beliefs. But trying to explain a prisoner of war, trying to explain the Holocaust, kind of try to explain how many people were killed in World War II. And so one day, I just for the heck of it, I was just Googling how many were killed in the United States, from the United States in World War II. And then I just went through the different countries, and let me just do it again so I get the right one. Do you know how many people were killed in World War II from Russia?
20 million.
Yeah. It's unthinkable to think that many people.
Battle of Stalingrad, if you were a private in the Soviet Army, your chances of surviving one day in that battle, about maybe 50 to 1.
Yeah.
It's just amazing.
Yeah. They were just like slaughtered.
Yeah. And then Stalin called it their greatest victory ever. The way that all went down. And
Unfolded,
they founded. Yeah, just Stalingrad.
And so it's hard for historians to try to explain prisoner of war and what that is like. I mean, you see, some of it when the attack on Israel, and they took hostages, I guess is what you want to call them, and
Hamas, yeah.
Yeah, Hamas, and that was over a year. But some of these POWs, it was years that they remained captive and held. So it's hard to explain the history. Even sometimes when I'm looking at, when they allowed people to vote, I'm looking like, what year was that? Like, are you serious? No, but remember, we're 250, next year is 250 years.
As a country, yes.
That's not a lot when you think about the world.
When you were talking about resiliency, there was a POW. Leominster has one of the more resilient POWs in the United States. Corporal Donald Legay.
Yep.
Okay.
His wife still comes to our events. Did you know that?
I was not aware.
Yeah.
My hat is off to that family. He was taken POW, I believe, in December 1950. The Red Chinese entered the war, and he got ripped from the elbow to his wrist by machine gun fire. He was taken POW. They put him into a camp up by the Red China North Korean border, and they did not tend to his wound. They fed him a diet of rice and water, and that was about it. And then, like the Manchurian candidate, we're going to indoctrinate you into the socialist communist way of thinking. So this is what he had to experience for close to 2 years.
Yep.
And then finally, he was one of the first Americans released out of captivity.
Right.
And Life magazine, because he was one of the first groups out, selected him and said, yes, this is the guy we want to do a case study on. So they followed him from Hawaii to San Fran and then over to Boston. John Kennedy, senator then.
Yep.
John Kennedy met him at the airport, and he became quite the sensation in Leominster.
He used to read this poem every year that was written by another person, fellow soldier that was imprisoned with him. And every Memorial Day, he would read that poem. I have a copy of it, actually, and his wife does too. She gave me a copy of it. So, it was just up until, I forget how many years ago, but she still shows up to all of the Memorial Day, and she was there the other day for Veterans Day. So, if you ever want to chat with her,
I think I'm going to have to. My hat is off to that family.
It's amazing what that man went through. 2 years. We get stuck in traffic for 10 minutes, and we feel like we need professional counseling, right?
I'm telling you.
But Leominster was very active, and out of the, my brother posts every once in a while about this small concentrated area where I grew up, where so many soldiers were killed and are still missing in action from World War II. There's still that pocket near 6th and Weber and Middle Street and Cedar Street, that little area around St. Anna's, where so many of the soldiers that are still missing never back here to the States. And they came from, a lot of them came from that one little area. Now, Weber Street has got 8 houses on it. What's the chances that 3 of those kids would never come home? That's high. It's a high chance.
As you mentioned about these MIAs, and it's Race, I attribute to the U.S. Navy veterans of Leominster as well. If you're a ship, if you are stationed on a ship and you were torpedoed in the North Atlantic, or you were bombed when you were in the South Pacific, whichever theater you were in, your grave, it's a water, you're going down in 2.5 miles of water.
Right.
They're never going to find you there.
Correct.
So, I mean, it is sad. So you have no permanent grave. The family has no real closure. And the only thing is they have your name on a memorial tablet in Hawaii or in the Philippines. Or,
that's it.
Well,
we have that White Cross ceremony at every Memorial Day on a Friday night before Memorial Day. And there's a cross there for everyone who's still missing, who've never come home back to. But remember, they're beginning to with DNA and everything. They're starting to identify, and every once in a while you'll hear of a family that they found the remains.
Found one in Weymouth.
They found one in Weymouth recently. We had one not so long ago, and every once in a while. So there's hope that they're going to find some remains and bring these soldiers home. 978-534-1626 if you're watching. Mike Kerrigan is comes here with us periodically, and we talk about the history of the city of Leominster, and he also posts regularly on Facebook. And he's got a lot of good stuff out there, and so pay attention to it. It's good stuff. He does all the work for you. You don't have to go to the library. You don't have to Google. You don't have artificial intelligence. He's got the stuff right in front of him.
Thank you. I wanted to also, World War II, we're talking here about servicemen being honored. My hat is off again to Private First Class Gerard Cormier, a 4th Street resident. He was with the 4th Marine Division, and he landed on Iwo Jima. And 8 days later, he was dead.
Yep.
And his division, I think, was the first 3 or 4 assault waves. 1 out of every 3 was a casualty. Wow. Japanese machine gunners,
Yeah,
snipers.
bang, 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 right.
I mean, they were there closer to the main Japanese homeland. They got the resistance picked up. And I had to say this about the family because, you know, they lived on 4th Street.
Yeah.
And that was a tough fighting American unit. And the Japanese did fear them, you know, so they wanted to make sure that they would dispose of as many as possible. Also, the Supple family, they lived on Low Street off of Pleasant Street.
What was their name?
Supple, S-U-P-P-L-E. His sister just died a couple years ago. And he, unfortunately, you had 1.7 million American GIs over in Europe at the height of the conflict in Europe. And the 99th Infantry Division was stationed in the Ardennes in December of 1944. And they were the division that took the brunt of the German spearhead, Battle of the Bulge.
Right.
The movie Battle of the Bulge with Henry Fonda, okay, that centered on the story of the 99th Infantry Division, and that's John Supple. That was his division.
Amazing, huh?
And he was killed 2 days after the start of the offensive.
Caller, welcome to the show.
Hi, Mayor. Rick Couture.
Hey, Rick.
So I'm just going to chime in a couple of minutes here.
Yes, please.
Don Legay, when he came home, they gave him a brand new car.
Yep.
Yes.
Most of our POWs that became POWs in World War II were from the Battle of the Bulge.
Yep.
And we have the highest concentration of Revolutionary War soldiers buried in Pine Grove Cemetery.
Correct.
Correct, yeah.
That's amazing. That in and of itself is amazing.
Yep.
That
we
is-
had, of course, you know, our Civil War veterans. I want to say that's 58.
Yes.
You know, lost their life, Balls Bluff. But yeah, Leominster's got an incredible history of patriotism.
Absolutely. Yeah, good stuff. When did Don pass away? How many years ago was that? It seems like it wasn't that long ago, but then sometimes.
10 years ago.
Was it?
I'd say at least 12.
Yeah.
12, all right,
was it?
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe more.
And he was a nice guy too. You know, I always said the POWs that I ever met weren't really angry people. And they had everything to be angry about. And I never
Right.
met a POW that was like bitter or angry.
One of our POWs, I can't think of his name now. He's got a street named after him up off of behind Dippin' Donuts. He was the head of the POW Association for Massachusetts.
We had Felice Gabrielli.
Gabriel, yeah, him. He
Gabrielli.
was the head of the POW Association in Mass for a long time.
Yeah, he's a lieutenant in the fire department. We used to go see him down there with John down at Bedford. And when we got the new ladder truck, we brought it down. we brought it down to Bedford so he could see it, to the Bedford VA.
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then one more thing, and I'll take off.
No, you stay as long as you want.
Veterans Day.
We had so many families. We had so many families that were together, that served together. The Remys, the Hools.
Pancaries,
We got them all hanging up in the Veterans Center.
Pacusis.
There was like 5 or more.
Yeah. Some of the French Canadian names that were on there, Caviolis, there was 4 or 5 of them in at once. That's the incredible thing when I see those pictures at the Veterans Center of 4, 5, 6 kids in at the same time. Just amazing. Just amazing. What history.
Yeah. Leominster's a great place to be. All right. Take care. Good job.
Was your father born around here, Rick?
My father was born in Webster.
Yep.
Actually, no. He was born in Newton Junction, New Hampshire. But his father died when he was born.
Yeah.
So then he was given up. Him and his brother and his sister were given up for adoption, and then he was raised by nuns in Webster.
Did he?
So my father and his brother both served in World War II in the Navy.
Right. Did he end up here because of Devon's, though?
Oh, actually, no. You know how he got here? So you remember Doc Remy?
Yep.
So Doc Remy was my grandfather's brother.
Yep.
So my father was working for Bates Shoes and didn't have a pension. Mm-hmm. So Doc Remy told my mother, "You get Eddie up here, and I'll get him in a factory where he gets a pension." So then he came up to work for DuPont.
DuPont, yeah.
And then Mylor, and then got a pension.
Wow, that's incredible, huh? I didn't know that he was had to be in an orphanage.
Yep, he was raised by nuns. So in fact, his name when he was born was VAU, and the nuns changed it to VOU.
Oh, wow. Oh, cool. See, I learned something today. Old Doc,
You learn something every day.
old Doc Remy. I remember him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there was 5 of his kids were all in the
Yep.
service in World War II.
Amazing, huh? Just
Yep.
incredible. All right, Rick, thank you.
All right.
That was good. See? That's good. I like when people chime in. 978-534-1626. So, yes, no question. We have a huge impact in the protection of this country and the people that served.
This is probably there's a couple of others that are very interesting here. I believe I've already mentioned this to you years ago, but Leominster actually, believe it or not, of all the casualties that the United States had in the Second World War, Leominster was among the first to make the supreme sacrifice, and that was Alton Cousins.
Yep.
He was on the destroyer Reuben James.
Yeah.
And it got torpedoed by a German U-boat, 552, 6 weeks before Pearl Harbor.
Wow.
So this is when the Americans were they were allied with the Canadians and the British, and they agreed to escort their supply merchant ships across the North Atlantic. The U-552, it came up, periscope depth, saw the destroyer, and took her out.
Amazing.
And
that's why he could run the whole high school by himself.
Yeah.
Mr. Cousins.
His cousins.
He didn't have any assistants to the assistant. He didn't have any deans. Nothing. He just ran the place by him. Here he had an assistant principal, right, or vice principal, as they say. That teaching, being a principal of high school is nothing compared to what he went through, right?
Yeah. The ship went down in 20 minutes. 115 went into the water, and it was they died.
Yep.
Hypothermia, and 44, I believe, got rescued. It was a U.S. destroyer like a couple miles away and managed to steam right over and pick up the other 44, whatever. But anyway, yes, Leominster has that distinction of being among the very, 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 very first to make the supreme sacrifice, World War II.
Yeah.
Before we even heard of Pearl Harbor, you know. And that happened 600 miles off the coast of Iceland. And to show you how the Cold War figured in, after in the late 40s, early 50s, as the United States realized that the Soviet Union was our real enemy now, the German captain of U-552, the Americans, they made him a rear admiral in NATO.
Wow.
This guy always triggered another part of World War II,
Yeah.
and they reward the guy, after. It's kind of, I thought it's kind of thought-provoking.
Stranger things happen, I guess.
You make strange friends with your former enemies.
That's it. That's the way war goes, right? Peace and war.
And then one other gentleman here from, this involves 20 Main Street, Leominster. Mm-hmm. All right, the name of the gentleman was Harry Hodson, and he is the only Leominster native citizen I know of that is buried in a foreign military cemetery with full military honors.
Really?
In 1914, when World War I broke out, England, Great Britain declared war on the German Empire, and of course, 40% of the people of Leominster back then were of some English heritage. And he decided he was English. He would since the Woodrow Wilson refused to get into the European War, he enlisted in the British Army under a false name.
Wow.
Dugged, I believe. And he went through basic training, and then they sent him over to Belgium. I believe he might have been killed in the Battle of Ypres. There were 2 different battles of Ypres. But anyway, he got killed in, I believe, May of 1915, and then after they interred the body into a full British military cemetery.
Wow.
And they're not even aware this guy was from Leominster, Massachusetts.
20 Main Street.
Yeah, 20 Main Street, and they put him in there in a kind of like their Arlington.
That's the Feeney building where all those apartments are up top there.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they put him into the cemetery and full military honors. It's kind of like their Arlington
National
of their
Cemetery,
for
yeah.
the British.
Did he have family here still, or?
I don't really
I mean,
know.
at the
'cause
time, did he have family here? Or?
He was only 17 when he enlisted. So
And he just went by himself and said, I'm out of here, and off he went.
patriotic duty felt to the
Yeah,
British,
yeah.
or he wasn't like a Tory or anything, but
Right.
he just simply had a love for the English way and decided, and they were calling the Germans Huns and what have you,
Yeah.
and this sort of fervor went through, and he decided to enlist with the British. Yeah.
He got motivated. He got motivated.
Well, it cost him his life, unfortunately. So, but yeah, he was unfortunately killed, but he is buried this very day over in Belgium and under full British military honors.
If I ever go there, I'm going to look it up. I'm going to go to the cemetery and check it out.
It's in Flanders. It's right on the coastline there. I'm pretty sure that's where that cemetery
Flanders
is.
Field, huh?
Flanders Field, yeah.
Poppies.
And the other thing, too, about the First World War, our World War I memorial on the Common, we have 30 names up there,
Right.
6 of them Italian.
Yep.
And the Italians have just started to make a statement. And unfortunately, though, half of the names that are on that tablet did not get killed in action.
Right.
Tragically, they were killed with the Spanish flu pandemic.
Right.
And this was a worldwide catastrophe medically. And unfortunately, they had the U.S. Army in 1917, when the war was officially declared, they had the recruiting tent right on the Common adjacent to Park Street. And these 18-year-old kids were running over there, signing up.
Yeah.
And then several weeks later, the call to duty, and they were transferred to cut expense over to Fort Devens, which was becoming a graveyard for this Spanish flu.
Right.
That's why when you were talking about Fort Devens earlier,
Yep.
what was going on there in 1918 was,
That was horrible, huh?
yeah, it was killing. And since neither side wanted to admit that they were carrying the virus, they called it the Spanish flu because Spain was a neutral country.
Right. That got everybody diverted. Their attention was diverted.
Right. So that's how that. It's just strange how that. Those kids, they didn't have a chance. They signed up at the age of 18, and then they 3 months later, they were, from that. So, and you mentioned about Hudson, and after on September 16th, 1919, Leominster had a victory parade, World War I victory parade. Mayor Henry Sawtell.
First mayor of Leominster?
Yes. Yep. And he saw fit to make sure that the veterans were totally recognized. And William K. Morse, who was the captain, was chief marshal. And the parade was close to 3 miles in length.
I see pictures of it. It's amazing, huh?
Yeah.
And everybody came out. The whole city came out.
Yes, and from Fitchburg and Lunenburg, and to commemorate the Leominster Veterans Service.
Wow. Amazing, huh?
3 miles in length. So, and then 10 years after that, you're right at the start of the Depression, the stock market crash, and Leominster contracted John Yule, who was an engineer and sculptor, and he designed the World War I granite monument and the Spanish-American monument. And they had the commemoration that year in 1929, and Mayor Bernard Doyle was the driving force behind that, because Bernard Doyle wanted to make sure that the Leominster veterans were fully recognized.
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember hearing that story.
Yep.
978-534-1626. If you have any questions, this is so interesting. Yeah. And I remember one year, Mike, and maybe I get you on before the holidays. I had John Proetti on and Muggsy, and I had everybody on. We talked about the holidays here in Leominster. And that was a long time ago, and what it was like, and what downtown looked like, and if the stores decorated, and just people didn't have a lot of money, so there weren't 100 presents under the tree, but there was a lot of community involvement, a lot of places like the Moose and different fraternal organizations that had events for families, and so maybe we can get you in to talk about some of that. What was life like in the 50s and the 60s here in the city of Leominster, because so many of us remember some of the stores that were downtown. And,
Warner's Sporting Goods, my favorite.
Yeah, and Grant's and
Grew up with
Woolworths,
Titans.
and so all of that. So Western Auto and on and on and on. So lots of history there, and people like that. People like that.
We also wanted to commemorate the Duffy family, and their son, Sergeant Donald Duffy, was the first Leominster resident to be killed in action in Vietnam.
Right?
New Year's Eve,
Yep.
1965.
Yeah.
And that was the start of a very long, tragic chain of events with the history of our country, with the way we got involved with that war, unfortunately. But from 65 to 1970, 10 Leominster citizens gave their lives in sacrifice.
Right, and they just had the anniversary, the 50th anniversary at the Veterans Center not long ago, and they highlighted and gave the history and the story behind each one of them. Yeah, that was it seemed like it went on forever.
Yeah, that was the tragedy. That's why I was a little bit didn't know how to say it, because the way it started off under the Kennedy administration, and it migrated, and then Johnson took over, and then Nixon, and nobody knew how to get out of the dilemma, and the Americans would go in. They won virtually every major battle. I think they did win every major battle, but then the Viet Cong and the North Vietnamese just crept back into the jungle, and 4 weeks later, they resurfaced, and they had the Ho Chi Minh Trail, and they were getting all their supplies, and that kept them
them going. Yeah,
and the Americans didn't know how to, and they had all those bomber strikes in North Vietnam. But yes, so Sergeant Donald Duffy, he's buried over at the Evergreen Cemetery.
He was the first,
very first one.
Imagine that, huh?
Yeah, and those 10. So there was. Korea had over 1,000 people that were involved in the conflict, and that actually the United States participated fully in for 2 years in 5 months, whatever, and we lost 38,000 men, and Leominster paid the price. 14 of them.
I know. A lot of them.
So it was a very boom, boom, boom. The communist, Red Chinese, and then the North Koreans, and. Yeah, they were Battle of the Chosin Reservoir. I keep watching that on the History Channel, what the Marines went through to get out of that mess. So it was Douglas MacArthur. So, but it was a lot of history involved here with the Reuben James. Oh, one time, you may not believe this. I'm historically, as an historian, when the Reuben James went down, okay, believe it or not, there was a seaman by the name of Delisle on the Reuben James. So you had one from Leominster, one from Fitchburg.
Wow.
What are the Vegas odds of that happening?
Right. Not a lot.
Probably 75,000 to 1.
Yeah. Incredible, huh?
Yeah. The name of the family was Delisle. His father had been a firefighter. They lived on Forest Ave or Forest Street in Fitchburg.
Yeah.
And he survived.
He did.
He survived, but obviously cousins didn't.
Right.
And he was one of the lucky 44 that got onto the destroyer.
Right.
But I kept reading that story on there. This is incredible because, the Montezut region and, Fitchburg, Leominster, football, and,
and you had one of each.
Yes, yeah.
Well, thank you a lot for coming on. That was really good stuff. We'll get you on again next month. Hopefully you can get you in, and we get a chance to talk about maybe the holidays and how people, I think sometimes we have these fond ideas or memories, but there wasn't much. People didn't have much. But I think they enjoyed the holidays just as much, maybe if not more. Because
they had the spirit.
Exactly. And so we'll talk more about that. Anyway, let's take a quick break because we've got to, in fact, if you want to hang in there, I'll let you know that, that the Festival of Trees, I think we just got like one more tree, it's mine, to put up tonight. And then the Festival of Trees starts on Monday. And it goes through. And so what we did is we used to start the Festival of Trees like the Monday after or the weekend after, the week after Thanksgiving. But then we heard from people who said, you know, I have family coming in on Thanksgiving and we'd love to come into City Hall to see the decorations. So we're starting on the 17th and we're going to keep the trees up for a whole month. Right. And we'll auction them off, or I guess bid, the highest bidder is a silent auction, and that'll happen on December 18th. And then Small Business Saturdays, November 29th. That's a lot of people come out to support the local businesses. And then the big day is December 6th. That's when we have the winter stroll from 3 to 5. At 5 o'clock, we have the parade of lights. And then and then after that, we do the tree lighting downtown. And we have a special surprise for you regarding the tree lighting. So lots of things happening. Also, I know we had this, we had a number of groups raising money and taking donations for food. And now we've kicked into the dollar campaign for our heating fund. And there are so many families that need assistance with their heating bills that I think the first allotment that we took in, which usually will last us a month or two, was gone in a day and a half. Wow. So if you have $1 or $5 or $10 and you'd like to make a donation, Mayor's Office, 25 West Street, and write a check, if you'd like, to the Mayor's Heating Fund. Don't forget curbside collection of all this wind. There shouldn't be any leaves left up in the trees. But get those leaves picked out and get them put out by the 29th. That'll be the last day is the 29th. So get them picked up. And if you don't have time and you run late, you need to go to the transfer station. We're there every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday from, I think is it 9 or 11? Well, anyway, you could check our website and let you know. Anyway, still, the apples, beautiful still, up at Shoreland Farms. They've already been picked, but we're open 11 to 3 o'clock on weekends. If you're heading to the public library tomorrow on Friday the 14th, it's a preschool drop-in craft from 10 to 12. If you go in there on Saturday, it's library, Lego, friends at 3 o'clock. And don't forget, our public library is open on Sundays from 1 to 5 o'clock. Once again, the Wizard of Oz, Friday night at 7, Saturday at 2, and then at 7. And then Sunday is 1 o'clock on the 16th. We did get a substantial and a good-sized grant from the state. It's a $3 million Housing Works grant, is what they call it. And so it's going to help us with infrastructure, Central Street water main, Creasy to Tossie, Lancaster Street water main, Elm Hill to Pennacook Point, Central Street water service tie-ins, roadway repairs, landscaping, ADA ramps, intersection upgrades. We're also going to be doing the Litchfield Street culvert. It looks like a small bridge, but when you really go over it, it's that old historic Roman style granite bridges, and that has to be replaced. Well, we got $1 million in the state, but that's not enough. So we're going to take some of the money from this $3 million to finish it all off. As I said, the hazardous waste collection day is this Saturday, the 15th of November, 9 to 12 at the DPW, and that's on 109 Graham Street if you're looking for that location near the Hannafords. And if you have any questions at all, but go to our website is probably the best thing, because it lists what they will take and what they won't. The people all the time are like, will they take this? I'm like, well, I don't know, I have to check my list. But you can get the whole list by going to leominster-ma.gov. And then we have a, let's see. All right, so it's Thursday night, it's the 13th. Do you know what tomorrow and Saturday are? Our second church fair for the holidays. Okay. St. Cecilia's. It's a Christmas in Acadia. It's, let's see, tomorrow and Saturday. So you don't want to miss this one. This is a, I love church bazaars and church fairs. Mm-hmm. Then, if you do miss this one, and even if you don't, if you go to all of them like I do, November 21st and 22nd, 5 to 8 on the 21st, 22nd is 9 to 1, and they have a big church bazaar up at St. Mark's. Then St. Leo's has theirs coming up on November 22nd. Right. 10 to 3 o'clock, they have over 20 vendors, and they have a $200 door prize, and Santa, all kinds of stuff going on. Then, on the 25th, which is usually the hardest time to get people to donate blood, is the 25th in front of the public library. It's a Tuesday, 9 to 2:30. Call our office. We'll get you set up, 978-534-7500. And then we'll be putting together the Spend the Holidays in Leominster brochure, which will get out very soon. So there's so much on it. There's so much on it. And we want to make sure you can get to as many things as you possibly can. There are concerts and caroling, and between the library and ourselves and the schools and the rec department and the churches and different organizations in town, it's a busy time of the year. It's like 45 days to the, let's say 14th, so you're talking 45 days. And so I've been reminding everybody about Christmas since last Christmas, because it comes quick. I know everybody, why are you reminding me? I say, because it comes quick. Yeah, resident yard waste drop off at 22 Jungle Road, 8 to 12. 8 to 12. All right, let's do some slides, kids. Hello. I'm getting text. People like the show. They're texting me saying they found it very interesting, Mike. It's National Dream Destination Day. Today you get to sit back, close your eyes, and say, I get to dream about where I'm going to go. You don't actually go there, but you get to dream about it. It's National Hug a Musician Day, National Indian Pudding Day. Have you ever had Indian pudding?
No, not.
How about figgy pudding?
National Indian pudding, that's new to me.
That's Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah.
And World Kindness Day. We should be kind every day, not just one day. In 1966, American comedian Flip Wilson, remember?
Yes.
He was on the Ed Sullivan Show. He went on 10 times, he returned. Then he had his own show, the Flip Wilson. He was funny. I liked him. 1979, Ronald Reagan announces his candidacy for president. He did that in New York City, by the way. And in 1987, Sonny and Cher performed their last song together, and they sang "I Got You, Babe," and that was on David Lemon. Remember that? I was sad. I liked it. I liked Sonny and Cher. I thought they were a good act, and I was bummed out when they were like, "Yeah, this is our last song. We're going to get divorced." And I was like, "Oh no, you don't have a right to do that." But they sang "I Got You, Babe." In 2001, U.S. President George W. Bush orders that the strategic petroleum reserves be filled to capacity over the next few years. And they did have to siphon off of that several years ago, if you remember. And
during the Biden era.
yeah, Biden administration, they had to take oil out. 2022, 4 Idaho students stabbed and killed in their own home in Moscow, Idaho. I will never understand why. What was the reason?
Yeah,
He didn't give a reason. Someday I hope to learn what were you thinking and why did you do that. Here's a couple of pictures of some of the grants that we've gotten, and there are just so many. We're going to have Wendy on again to explain them all. But I just told you we got $3 million for housing grant, construction for infrastructure. We got $1 million for the the bridge project, and we got $1 million for Barrett. We got $75,000 for the digital equity program. Anyway, we didn't do any paving for the fall, but boy, do we have some serious paving we're going to be doing this spring and summer. All right, are you ready, Michael?
Yes.
Pictures of the week. I don't even know what they are. Ready? Here we go. Green Drop, ribbon cutting, donations, support Epilepsy Foundation. They're right behind, let's see, what is that? Ocean State on
Ocean
Hamilton
State job
Street.
lot.
Yep, right out back. And Toddler and Baby Play Sensory Group at the Recreation Department. That was excellent. These programs are so well attended and so well needed. And Zumbini class at the Recreation Department. Now, let me tell you, you put some of this musical, but this is how it starts when people develop this interest in music. Starts young. And work on Coolidge Waterline continues. We've replaced so many water lines up on the west side this year. I mean, it has a dramatic impact on our quality of water and our ability to distribute water from different sections of the city when there's a water break.
How old were those pipes?
Oh, those are you're talking 20s and 30s, and oh yeah, those are old lights. 5 minutes left here at Inside Leominster, the Trail Stewards Guide. The walk was a big success. They had a number of people. I wish I could have got out there. You can't get to everything, but you try. But I got to get out there with them someday, the Trail Stewards. And it was a big success. You can look them up. The Recreation Department posts all of those. They post all of those things on their website. So Leominster Police Department making special connections at the Spanish Center. We also want to thank Sheriff Lou Evangelitis. They did a big coat drive. They delivered the coats yesterday. We got some from the Spanish Center. We got some from Community Action Center. We got some for the high school. And people are just really generous year round. And Jersey Mike's made a generous donation to the heating fund. They had just opened up there at Twin City Plaza. And again, this is how it gets done. Maybe a family says, we have everything we need. We're going to make a family donation this year for the holidays. And maybe you're thinking about which organization it might be. And I'm just put my plug in for the heating fund. What I'm going to be doing in the next couple of weeks is taking all of the local nonprofits and just giving you an idea of the administrative cost. Because some people are very selective. They want to give to organizations where there are little or no administrative cost. They really want the bulk of the money to go where it needs to go. And we'll help people out with that. And again, setting up for the Festival of Trees here at City Hall. Yeah, the boxes are not part of the festival. They'll all get picked up, put away, everything will get cleaned up, and you'll walk in and go, wow. Wonderful turnout again for the Veterans Day. The place was packed, standing room only. Thanks to everybody that participated. I don't have time to thank every single person, and I fear that I might miss one organization. But this year, my 32nd Veterans Day, I think this was up there with my top 3. So that's how moving it was. And again, there's the announcement. Wendy went out for the $3 million MassWorks grant announcement with the Lieutenant Governor, a friend of mine, Kim Driscoll. And beautiful fall sky. I don't know. If you're prepared, you get the right, I'm running around with not the right coats and things, but I'm getting there. I know I've got to do a better job of preparing, but it did wake you up a little bit the other day when all of a sudden it went from like 60 to 30, 29 degrees. But look how beautiful that looks with Pilgrim Church in the forefront. And there's the Mechanic Street Parade in the 1940s. Take a look at that. That's the Patriotic Parade of Mechanic Street. Yes, they colorized it. And I know it says Plymouth and AI, artificial intelligence, isn't always right. Anyway, thank you for watching tonight. And thank you, Michael, for coming on with us.
Pleasure.
It was always a pleasure to have you on. Thanks for the whole cast and crew here at LTV and Inside Leominster. I want to thank you for watching. Good night, God bless you. And remember, the world is run by those who show up. Thanks for showing up. Good night.
Inside Leominster is brought to you in part through the generous support of MP Crowley Incorporated and by Rockland Trust, where each relationship matters.
This is LTV.